All right, I got some new stuff and some explanations as well. So I should start off with that. On the previous videos, I got quite some reactions, and I actually made a remark in the last video where I said that, you know, the airbox hole, that it's maybe a botch job whatsoever. Well, apparently, new to me, the DRZ400 E model actually comes with that stock. So I guess it's something that Suzuki thought of, and then people did it on all the models themselves. So I stand corrected. Doesn't mean that it's been done properly on this one, but you know, we'll get to that later. Then I got a Haynes guide. This was highly recommended by a friend of mine, so I got it. And I gotta say, it has pictures, so I guess that's nice. Good for me. All right, next up on the list. I told you guys I bought the cheapest DRZ400 in Europe at the time of buying, but I never said how much. So I bought the DRZ400 at that time, which was about a year ago, for $2,000, which is not bad, as it was the cheapest at that time. I will, you know, check what the prices of DRZs are right now, and I'll probably list them up on the screen somewhere. Then I got a new carb, and they threw in an ECU for free for $100. Well, it wasn't new, it was secondhand, and it's probably not running well, but we'll see. Then in these boxes is a secondhand brand new, but actually brand new kit, fairing kit, and a tank. So I paid $250 for that, which is a pretty sweet deal to me, because just the tank alone will run you around 300 euros used. So yeah, let's finish where we left off last time and take out that damn carb. To take out the carb, I first have to make sure that the lines that run from the gas lever to the throttle body are actually loose, not attached to the throttle body anymore. If I twist the gas here, you can see this little butterfly thing moving. So to get that actually loose, I have to loosen these two nuts and then just whip out those little, I don't know, let's call them metal dingleberries, with a screwdriver. So let's get on that now. So when we get to this side of the bike, it's basically a matter of unplugging this connection, unplugging this connection. Then there's these two rings here that basically cramp on the airbox on this side and attach it to the cylinder. So I'm not sure what you call these actually, but it's a matter of removing this one, and then peeling back this. It's a somewhat flexible part of the airbox, and then hopefully without too many issues we can take out the carburetor. However, I've seen some videos online and I've read some stuff that it's pretty snug in there, and it's hard to get out, but I guess we'll manage. Well, we got that out pretty easily, right? So I think I'm just gonna take this inside and just open it up, see what's up with this carb and compare it to the one that we have. So I'll see you inside. Okay. Well, actually, I already combined the two carburetors. Let me get the other one here. But the footage was corrupted, so I'm very sorry, but that's not something that I can get back. To be honest, you didn't miss much because it was just me fidgeting around with stuff that I didn't know my way around. But I put the carb, as it is now, back in the bike, and it still didn't run well. So I'm gonna have to open it up again, and now I know my way around it a bit better. So what you need to open the carb, Phillips screwdriver, actually not a Phillips because it's some certain other kind of screw. Look it up because I don't know the exact name, but a Phillips will work if you try not to screw the screws up too much. A flathead, and this, whatever you call it, you know what it is. I have another camera set up here, so maybe you don't see my entire face, but you can see the carb a bit better. So this carb basically has two sides, and this side, which is the bottom, it's the bowl. This is where the gas basically comes in and then is being distributed through the air duct channel. And then this is the top, and that's basically where the needle and all these other things get in. And the needle is basically, so it's fully submerged in this thing when the throttle is closed, and if I'm correct, when you open the throttle, it comes out of there, and that means that more gasoline can go into the carb cylinder mixture. So we're gonna take it apart again. I'll show you how I take it apart. Also, I'll put in the link a video that helped me very much because some guys are much more knowledgeable on this than I am. And we'll see what we end up. So let me find that piece of paper from JD Jetting because it is somewhat important. So this is the piece of paper that I've been talking about. Let me hold it in front of the camera and see if you can see it. So here are all the jet sizes and which color needle you need and more explanation. So what the JD Jetting kit basically is this is a carb that comes from a DRZ400S, which didn't have the airbox mod stock. So when they modded the airbox, they needed to change the jets because more air means that you need more fuel. And on top of that, I should have checked the spark plug to see if this bike was running rich or lean. But since I've been already tinkering with the carb and running it, I'm not sure if that's a correct measurement anymore. So we're just gonna have a look at the carb first, and then I'll just put in a new spark plug and I'll see how that spark plug is gonna look like if it doesn't run well. So let's start. So we will be at 0 to 4,000 feet because we're in the Netherlands, flattest country in the world. So we'll just need a 25 pilot screw, a clip position 3, and main jet of 155, which is what we have in here right now. So luckily I didn't tighten them up too much. And what I did last time was, so this is the casing of my original carb. And this is the casing of the second-hand carb that I ordered, but lots of the parts, they just look better on the new-ish carb. So I switched them around from the old carb to the new carb. Also, I'm doing this in a rally tray because there is always going to be some gasoline left over in here, and you just don't want to get that on your table because then I'll get in a fight with the missus. So once you open this, there's a spring that comes out. I'll just put that here, and then inside you can see some plastic bit that you can take out with this. There we go. And then you actually want to take out the entire white plastic bit. So make sure that you don't lose the spring and make sure that you don't lose anything of this. But here you will see the needle, and you will also see on my hand a little washer. Let me see if you can actually see this. So there's a little ring. There's supposed to be I'll just take these out. A plastic ring and 2 washers, one bigger, one smaller. And then there's a clip on the needle itself as well, which is called the clip position. And if I'm correct, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, it's in clip position 3, but you count from the top when you count them. So the way to build this up, it's also up here, is basically you have the plastic bit, then you have the thick washer, and then you have the thin washer on top. So just to make sure that I won't lose this, I'm just gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put the spring with it, because this is supposed to be, because it's the blue needle. So I'll just show you the red needle, because mine has been used for quite some time, so the paint has chipped off a bit. This is the red needle. As you can see, it has a red top. Now, which is interesting, because with this carb, it seemed like some people have been already doing some, trying to refurb this, but they didn't do it the right way, because the needle also that came with it, it's just completely bent at the top. So I was a bit worried about, what this carb will look on the inside, but it does look kind of all right. So this part is actually okay. We can have a look at this. This still looks, it still looks rather flexible. These parts look rather new. So just to be sure that I'm not gonna lose anything, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put this back. So what you wanna do is you just wanna drop that needle back in there, but the problem is that you don't want to lose these little washers. So, but once you can see it coming out from the underside a little bit like this, you can just drop it, and then it's like that. So then you take your, I don't know what you call this in English, tweezers, and you just put this thing back on there. When you hear a little pop, you know the O-ring took. Don't forget the spring on top, and you know actually that this one is in well when you push it and it comes back out. Then you know that the spring in there is working. So put it back in. Also, I'm telling this like I'm a professional, but for me this is the second time doing this, so I'm not a professional by any means. There we go. So I'm just gonna put this back on because I don't want to lose any of these small things. Oh, important side note, once you open this, you will see there's a little black O-ring there. Normally it stays there, but just make sure you put it back and you don't lose it, because it is a very important component. So what I may do, if this doesn't work out, I'm just gonna try and fiddle with the hole in the airbox. See if I almost close it up with some tape, if that differs how my carb works and how the bike revs. But I guess we'll get to that bridge when we get there. Then it's time for the bowl. For the bowl, you actually need more than what I have here. So let me get some of those tools. Okay, so now it's time to open the bowl. And mind you, once you open this, there will probably be some gas coming out. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. There we go. So what's somewhat important to know is that, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, but this one also houses the, how do you call this? I think this is the throttle adjustment. So this screw is a tiny bit longer. It's very hard to see, but just to be sure that I don't put the wrong screw in there, I'm just gonna put it on the other side. The other screws are all exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter. like that. So that's it, that's open. And here you can see why I initially thought that this one was the better way to go with, and they already did some refurbishing. Because if you put these two next to each other, you can see that this one is much more yellow, which makes me think, same with all the screws. So this definitely looks like a new screw compared to the other one. So that just makes me think that everything in here has been, you know, put in there newly. And then they just couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, which is what I'm trying to do now. So here we can have a look at the jets that are in there. So this is a fat screwdriver that we need for that, which I should have laying around here somewhere, but apparently I don't. There we go. This is the part where all the jets are, basically. So this is the float valve. It looks new, so I'm not gonna mess with that too much. And here, I'm just gonna start by taking out this one. So this is the jet that has 155 on it, so it's the main jet. Main jet is supposed to be 155, so that's actually fine. Now, let's see if we can see the numbers on the other jets, because they're not printed on the side, they're just printed on the top, without taking them then out. Okay, I need to get a little bit closer here. I'm not sure. Actually, I think that's not the jet that we need to change. I think this is the one that we need to change. So let me take this one out, because I think this is supposed to be the pilot. And this one is a 25. Yep. And it's a 25 all around. And if I'm correct, the pilot jet is the jet that makes sure that if you're not opening the throttle, it still keeps getting gas and it doesn't stall. Okay, so we checked the main jet, which is 155, and we checked the pilot jet, which is 25, which is all that we needed to change. Then you also need to drill this normally, but right now there's no need for that, and you just have to count the amount of full takes that you do on this one. I'll put the video in the link on how it's done. So what I can see from this, and this is not a very complicated carb, is that everything is fine. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna close this one up again. And I'm gonna see if maybe there's something else wrong with the bike. So I'm gonna change the spark plug. I'm gonna play around with the airbox hole. So remember, 3 screws of the same size, and the other one is a bit longer. So I was hoping to get a big aha moment here, but there's not something really wrong with this carb per se. I have to say it is quite dirty, so I might have to do something with it, but it shouldn't impact the performance the way it does, because it runs fine when it's in the high revs, and it doesn't when it's in the low revs. So that is weird. Well, anyways, Also got some new gas lines. So I'll install these later as well. I mean, it's just line installing, so it's nothing special. And I'll see you back at the bike when I have to put it back. Hey everyone, quick update like this. As you can see, the DRZ is somewhat back together again. The gas tank is on, the saddle is on, the carburetor is on, which is an easy enough job. I don't need to show you that because you've seen how I've taken it out, so you know how to put it back. The reason why I'm making this video like this is because I'm moving houses and everything is going a bit quicker than expected, so I have to move all this junk as well as the stuff from my house to the new house, so I don't really have time to, you know, go over the spark plug because I just have to move the bike quickly to the other house. I drove on it a bit, doesn't run great still, so when I get to the new house I definitely have to check that spark plug, but I'll show you in the next video and I'll show you at my new garage. See ya.